Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Hello and welcome to another episode of Living the Dream with Curveball. I am your host, Curveball, and today we are joined by a special guest. We are joined by Michael Coleman. He is the leader of the music creative entity out of Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to be talking to him about what Seeing Your Shadow does and why he calls it Seeing Your Shadow. I'll give you a hint. It's got something to do with Groundhog Day. Seeing Your Shadow has a collective talent list of very talented musicians. Michael, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on the show. It's good to talk to you.
Absolutely. Why don't you start off by giving people a little bit of background about yourself?
Sure. Well, as you briefly said in the introduction, I'm the artistic director of See Your Shadow Songwriting. And because the flagship of our creativity is music, most people think that we are a band. But what we actually are is a collaborative network of vocalists and musicians. And it's those vocalists and musicians that bring the songs that I write and produce to life. And we're unique in the fact that the songs that we create are the stars, and we utilize the net. And we have the songs out front, and where most people have the vocalists out front and the musicians, we put the songs out front, and that's why songwriting is actually in our name, because the songs are the stars.
Well, how did you actually get into songwriting?
That's interesting. That's actually an interesting story and funny story. I had a milestone birthday many years ago, and I'm not going to tell you which one it was. And so I thought to myself after I had that milestone birthday, you know what? I've got too much talent that I'm not doing anything with, and I need to start doing something with it. I was managing a law firm at the time in the Bay Area, and I said to myself, yeah, you know what? It's time to let that go. So I always was a good poet, and I always loved music. So I thought that if I'm going to do something in the creative arts, it was just a natural progression to merge my natural talent for poetry and my love of music, and that really is how I started writing songs. But we do I do a lot of things in the creative arts, but songwriting has always been the flagship of any creative project that I do. I mean, like earlier last year, we were producing a TV show, and I've written a few screenplays, and you know, I'm a photographer. I do a lot of other things in the arts, but songwriting is always the flagship.
Well, if you don't mind, and if you can, tell us about that TV show. Did it ever make it out anywhere? Tell us about it.
Oh, you know, it's so funny. Well, we started 2020 off. Let me back up a little bit. Years ago, I wrote a dance and disco tune called Rug Burn, and we put it out under the auspice of Red Carpet Premiere. So it's a song. It's adult themed in nature. I'll put it to you that way. It's a song about sex, and so we did that project, and we had a lot of success with the project, and so the concept of the music video, which I'm still getting death threats on because it's so out there, because the music video was a tribute to trash TV director John Waters. And I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but his early work in the 1970s was so outrageous and over the top. And when we decided to do that video to that particular song, which was about sex, we decided to pay tribute to him and do him on steroids. And so it was just a real fun project. So what I did was I took the concept of that I came up with for that music video, and we turned it into a live action game show that that we filmed here in Phoenix, and we were really getting a lot of traction, and I think the paper called us Phoenix's latest sensation. And so we did a live taping, and it was just so much fun. And then COVID hit, so we had to shut production down on that. And so what I decided to do to pivot, we're now turning the concept of the live game show into a board game, so folks can play the Are You Worth the Rug Burn, the home version, and it really is just a lot of fun. I mean, it's just goofiness and just out there fun.
Well, let's talk about, I know you've been into all this stuff yourself, but how did you decide, okay, I'm going to take this music and I'm going to bring a group of talented musicians and I'm going to give them these songs and let them perform them? How did you get that going?
Well, one of the things that I discovered when in the early days of See Your Shadow, when we were launching, was that there was so much untapped talent, and that people were going that was going to waste. People thought that, okay, and I really can't do anything in the music business because I'm not 20. I'm 30 now, or I'm a mother with kids, or I don't have a certain look. But you have the talent that's there, and so what I did was I I zoned in on those people that had such the talent and the passion, because it really takes that to really bring a project to life. And so and and, and so we just started building from there. Every time I meet somebody that has the passion, I approach them and say, hey, would you want to do a project? Or it's just finding those people that thought that they never could do uh, do what we're doing, because they thought that their time was over. On our latest record, one of the performers on our latest record is 72. And you would have never thought that she would have never thought that she'd be performing on a record. We went to number 2 on the iTunes pop chart in South Africa with that record. She would have never thought that would have been in her purview in her lifetime. But you don't lose your talent just because you might not be what the industry calls as what folks want to see or hear.
Now, do you allow the musicians to write any of their own original work, or do you just do everything and that's just how it is?
Oh, no, you know what we do? I do collaborate. I mean, because it's important for folks to interject their own soul into a piece. Now, when we go in the studio, it's so funny. I've been called Ike Turner when I'm in the studio, because sometimes I crack the whip. Uh, but but what folks, I mean, sure, we're all in this together, but there really is only one executive producer, and that's me. So I do have the final word on the final product, but it really is a collaborative spirit, because you need that, because different people's energy adds to the piece, and with the star being the song itself, you have to be open to that kind of energy.
So let's talk about some of the music and the songs you write. What would you consider, you guys? What kind of genres of music do you do at See Your Shadow?
Well, it's funny, because the catalog has every type of genre imaginable in it. Uh, uh, we've got gospel, we've got hard rock, we've got alternative, uh, country, pop, rap. It's got every kind of genre in it. But when I when I brought the organization to Phoenix, because we're originally from, it was founded in Ohio, and so and then I moved us to Phoenix. And so when I moved us to Phoenix and I rebranded and relaunched, we were going to focus primarily on my first love, which is country and western, and that is the bulk of See Your Shadow catalog is country and western. But and I said I was never going to do another dance record again, because that was primarily what we were being known for, was our dance music. But then I never say never, because soon as we started doing the country work, and that started becoming popular, I got the idea for a dance theme track, turning one of our country pieces into a dance piece, and that's the I Know My Worth project, which is out right now. So I mean, I just never know what direction that a project is going to take, or what I might even come up with.
Your company is in Phoenix, Arizona right now, but it was founded in Columbus, Ohio, and you actually won an award. Tell us about the award and what it's all about. You won an
Well,
award for your songwriting.
I think I think what you're referencing is the fact that I'm the only songwriter to ever be nominated. I didn't win it, unfortunately. I know I was nominated twice under the Kasich administration here to be Ohio's poet laureate.
That's
And
exactly what I'm talking about.
yes.
So tell us what that means.
Well, it is the poet laureate for the state of Ohio is a government appointed position, and how you get to it is the Ohio Arts Council was familiar with my work, and liked my work, and submitted me to the committee to be considered to be appointed by the governor as the chief wordsmith for the state. So I was nominated once and I didn't get it, and then I was nominated again and not selected. But just to even have your work be on that radar, to say, okay, this person's songwriting is so prolific that it stands alone as literature, and that was what I was known for, was was the lyrics that I write. If you were just to read them on the page, you felt the emotion, and they stood on their own as literature, and they recognized that, and submitted me to be nominated for that position, and not once but twice.
Now let's talk about the name See Your Shadow. Tell us how you came up with that name. It's a special name for you.
Yes, when I first started out, I did, I from all the research that I was doing, I wanted to be set aside as, more so than just Joe Blow, the songwriter. So I had to have something. I wanted to have something unique. So my birthday is Groundhog Day, and so I came up with the idea of calling the organization See Your Shadow Songwriting. We had to put the songwriting in the name because that's who our stars are. But 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 See Your Shadow. So now when I present my work, when my work is presented in Nashville and other places and like that, it's the entity that you deal with, as opposed to the just Joe Blow off the street, who's a songwriter.
Do you guys have any projects that you're working on right now? Any upcoming projects? Tell us about those.
Yes. Well, what we have the women's empowerment anthem is still on rotation. That's out right now. which is the I Know My Worth campaign. It is, and we've been really excited about that. We did that for Women's Empowerment Month, for Women's History Month and Women's Empowerment Day last month, and so it's still coming. We're still in the throes of that. We just got a great review on that just a couple of days ago, actually, and we're so excited about that particular project because it's we're all about women's empowerment of people, period, and women's empowerment especially. And that was a fundraiser for the RAIN organization that helps survivors of sexual abuse. And so that particular recording was the first time that a banjo has been used as a lead instrument in a danceable track, and the first time a woman of color did what's known as a hip hop record. And so it was very innovative in the production of it. So that's what we're at. That's what we have out right now, and what's coming down the turnpike is our diversity and inclusion campaign that will be launched in the summer. I'm hailing it as the Summer of Diversity and Inclusion, and it's gonna be around our next single, which is going to be a piece called "It Starts with Hello." And that was a piece that I wrote that I wrote years ago, and I wanted to revamp because with everything going on in the world right now, I think it's important that we start dialoguing with each other and start speaking to one another, open up these conversations. And the main way every conversation starts is with that one word, hello. When you meet a stranger, when you meet anybody, it all starts with that one word. And so we're going to release that as our next single, and I plan on building a whole campaign around diversity and inclusion for the summer.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, your music, give us the contact information, website, social media. How do we keep up with See Your Shadow?
Yeah, our flagship website is seeyourshadow.com. That's SEEYOURSHADOW.com. You can find us on Facebook. Give us a like on Facebook, and I also encourage folks to your audience and to look me up and find me personally on Facebook. You'll see me, Michael Coleman. You'll see the picture with the cowboy hat. Actually, no, since I got my hair out, I have my COVID curl, so the current picture doesn't have the cowboy hat, but I'm about to get my hair cut here soon, and have a new photo session done. But yeah, I mean, Facebook is the preferred platform, but we're on Twitter, Instagram, all the main ones, but Facebook is the preferred platform. But you can always see our videos and listen to the music at our flagship website, seeyourshadow.com. You can see the blog there and just everything that we're doing at the flagship website.
And yeah, that's right. You are called the Metropolitan Cowboy. Real quick, how did you get that nickname?
Well, that actually was the name of a sketch comedy show that I used to produce here in Ohio. And when we were trying to figure out what to call it, one of the writing staff said, well, why don't we just make it about you and call it the Metropolitan Cowboy, and that was the name of the show, and it just stuck, and I decided to keep it because I was always wearing cowboy hats and Western gear and whatnot, and that's how when you see me out and about, that's how you know you found me.
Absolutely. Yeehaw. You got any closing thoughts for us before we close it out?
Yeah, you know what, I do want folks to really really be thinking about how the state of the world that we're in right now, and just be really try to find ways to be kind to each other. I think that goes so much further than than just all the hatred that's out there right now. And I really, if that's one takeaway that I can give the audience today, just be kind.
Ladies and gentlemen, the founder of See Your Shadow, Michael Coleman. Michael, thank you so much for joining me today. And guys, make sure you check out their website and their music. Show them a little love and support them. Also, show some love and be sure to follow, rate, share, review, and tell a friend after listening. Michael, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.